Hello and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Thank you so much for joining me on here, and I suspect that if you're seeing this video now, you may have followed the link from my bio on Instagram, Twitter or TikTok, because I don't think there's any other way that anyone will be seeing this, seeing as it's my first YouTube video. So thank you for clicking the link and coming along to join me on here. As you may or may not already know, I've been creating content for the last 2 or 3 years on those 3 platforms that I mentioned, and this is my first foray into creating longer form content. As you can see, I'm shooting on a train, and it's something that I often do because I'm always on the go, and it's a question that I often get asked on TikTok. Why is it that you're always traveling? And that's because I live in London, which is a massive urban sprawl. It's very spread out, much like New York or Shanghai or any other international metropolis. So people live in all different parts of the city, and it usually requires a fairly lengthy train journey to get from one part of the city to the other. So that's why I'm always on a train. I really miss the days when I lived in Vancouver in the late 80s, at a time when everybody that I knew lived in town, downtown Vancouver, or the West End as it's known, the residential area in the heart of downtown Vancouver, which back in those days was really affordable. So it was full of students and club kids, and you pretty much could get around everywhere by foot. But that was another lifetime pretty much, because I think that was probably not something that was unique to Vancouver in the 80s, but a lot of other major cities in the world where it was affordable to live in the center of town. But these days, as we all know, most people have to commute from the outer suburbs, where they can actually afford to live. And if anyone is wondering how it is that I can speak authoritatively about the 80s, it's because I'm 51 years old. Yes, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm proud of it. I was born in 1972. Yeah, Asian don't raisin, as they say, or good China don't crack. But no, it's actually, I'm not trying to show off or anything about looking young, but people generally think that I am a lot younger than I actually am. And it's, I suppose, down to my genetics, but also the fact that I try to eat well, and I am young at heart as well. I don't dress my age or at my age, so I don't really come across as your typical 51-year-old, I suppose, whatever that is, because I don't think there is a typical 51-year-old. We're presented a certain sort of standard of how you should be at various different ages by the media, by society, but I don't believe in conforming to any societal standards in regards to age, race, sexuality, any of those identity groups by which we are defined nowadays. I also don't align myself to any particular political ideology. I consider myself a free thinker, but I digress. So back to my original point, which is actually I don't even know what my original point was, because I'm always digressing, and that's perhaps the beauty of being here on YouTube now, because up till now I've been creating content primarily on TikTok, where there has to be a point to what I'm saying, and now I'm just waffling aimlessly as you do in real life, and anybody who knows me will tell you that I can talk forever about anything. So this is a chance for me to do so and see if anybody out there is actually interested in listening. So if you've stayed with me up till now, thank you. Another thing I've been asked is, how are you not embarrassed to be speaking, broadcasting publicly on a train? But that's one of the things that, one of the sort of fears you have to get over before you become a content creator, because if you're embarrassed about people hearing you speaking on a train or on a bus or on the street, how is it that you don't mind them, random strangers that you don't know, potentially millions of people hearing you speak on the internet? What's the difference? So that's actually a sort of an irrational fear that you have to get over before you can do what I'm doing right now. Yeah, one of the biggest barriers to becoming a content creator is that self-consciousness, that sort of sense of awareness of people looking at you and judging you and laughing at you and thinking, what a weirdo standing there with his selfie stick. But when you're able to get over that and focus on just yourself and your audience, it's very liberating. It allows you to stand in the middle of the street and dance or make a fool of yourself without caring what anybody thinks. And I'm the sort of person who doesn't care what anybody thinks about me at all anyway. I've not always been like that, because I think it's very rare for people to be able to feel that sense of liberation at an early age. It took me until probably 40 before I was able to stop caring about what people think of me. And as a result, I've been able to speak completely freely, which is what I've been doing over the last couple of years, primarily on TikTok, where I've been very outspoken. I've been very honest about the way I feel about the world in its present state, how people have gone kind of crazy with identity politics and what I see as sort of they've fallen victim to a deliberate attempt by those in power to divide us and keep the general population fighting over the most ridiculous things, so that they're distracted from the bigger issues that they should be focusing on instead. And this is something that I talk about a lot, and I will talk about it more here on YouTube over the coming months, hopefully. So once again, thank you very much for finding me on here and sitting through this long waffly video. I promise my next one will actually have a focus, a subject matter. But for now, this is just an introduction to what I'm doing here on YouTube. And I really want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting me so far on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and that other platform that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention on here, but that's subject for a whole other video. So please hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get this channel going. Thank you again.